Horn guy. So you're saying that he got a little over 3 years in prison. He broke into the Capitol and
he was escorted around the Capitol by Capitol Hill police.
He wasn't escorted.
He was. It's on video.
Are you saying that if Antifa broke into the Capitol in the exact same way, you would downplay it in the same way you're downplaying?
I don't think I'm downplaying anything. I think I'm seeing things clearly and stating my opinion, which happens to be correct. If this were Antifa, they would have brought bombs, which they did when I spoke at the University of Pittsburgh just about 6 months ago. If this were Antifa, they would have maimed people and probably killed some of them. But that didn't happen with the January 6thers. The only person who died in the political violence of January 6th was one of the January 6thers who was murdered by a trigger-happy cop. That this is contrary to what we were told by the media, but the media lied to us. And then the so-called January 6thers, who may have behaved in an improper way, I'm not suggesting they didn't, were sentenced to years in prison over crimes that should have received a slap on the wrist. Meanwhile, people who committed heinous crimes for months were given a slap on the wrist when they should still be in prison today. Not only was the January 6th incident not the worst insurrection in the history of the United States, it wasn't the worst attack in the history of the U.S. Capitol. Not even close. It wasn't even in the top half dozen. As I mentioned earlier, the Capitol has been blown up on multiple occasions. As I mentioned earlier, in the 1950s, Puerto Rican nationalists broke into the Capitol and started shooting congressmen. 5 of them were injured in that. And what happened later on to those people? Jimmy Carter, a liberal darling, let them off the hook. What happened to the Weather Underground when they came in and blew up the Capitol, blew up part of the Capitol? Well, Bill Ayers basically got off the hook for his involvement with Weather Underground and went on to become a mentor to Barack Obama. What happened to the half dozen mostly left-wing attacks? We don't even remember them. People think that the January 6th lectern guy smiling with Pelosi's podium was the gravest assault on the Capitol. It's a farce. And it has made a farce out of our criminal justice system to see it treated in this way.